Hello, my name is Brian Hageman, and this is a presentation for the Arizona Corporation Commission Utilities Division Resource Planning Group. I'll be talking today about Palo Verde Nuclear Station and the life expectancy and decommissioning of the power systems at Palo Verde. I was privileged to be a construction engineer with the Bechtel Power Corporation during the construction of the full power plant at Palo Verde and its predecessor I worked on before at Palo Verde at the San Onofre nuclear plants, units 2 and 3 that were the predecessor design for the state-of-the-art Palo Verde plant. Thank you very much. A few facts about the Palo Verde plant in Arizona. The net summer capacity of all three units is 3,937 megawatts. That's 3.9 gigawatts of electric power that the Palo Verde plant produces. Arizona's Palo Verde Nuclear Generating Station is the largest nuclear power plant in the United States, and it's the largest net generator of electricity. It's the second largest power plant by capacity of any other kind in the nation. Um, the first largest, of course, is fossil fuels. A few other relevant facts. Unit 1 and 2, Palo Verde, went into commercial operation in 1986, and Unit 3 went online in 1988. In 2005, the NRC announced approval of the power uprates or upgrades at the Palo Verde reactors, rebuilding the steam generators. In 2011, the NRC renewed the operating licenses for all three Palo Verde reactors, extending the service lives from 40 years to 60 years, taking out the permit, operating permit for Palo Verde out to 2046, the year 2046. It took 12 years to build Palo Verde, and it had a peak manpower of 10,000 craftsmen, engineers, and management, along with a cost of $5.9 billion to build Palo Verde. It currently employs over 2,000 people. Operating licenses for a nuclear power plant anywhere in the United States have to be approved and granted by the United States Nuclear Regulatory Commission. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission extended the operating license for the Palo Verde nuclear plant through 2046, and that's another 27 years of operations that will be happening at Palo Verde currently. The operating license was extended from 40 years to 60 years with the steam generator upgrades that increase the operating life of the nuclear power systems. Okay, this slide I'm talking about where I used to work. My office was always inside the reactor building during construction, um, working along with craftsmen and inspectors and engineers, finalizing all the reactor coolant systems and reactor safety injection systems that are inside the reactor building. Um, the nuclear reactor and steam generator is a man-made machine built to the highest quality construction methods on Earth. The NRC specifications are the safest standards ever developed for a man-made machine, and built to last many decades. The materials used to build the reactor systems and steam generator are 100% stainless steel. That's a material that can last for hundreds of years. The NRC 60-year license was based on engineering analysis that determined that the reactor and reactor systems could last at least 60 years. Big question, can the reactor last more than 60 years? From a construction engineering standpoint, my opinion is the mechanical components can last at least 3 times longer than the NRC has permitted. So the Palo Verde nuclear plant will last 180 to 200 years with proper maintenance. And maintenance being the typical pumps and valves that need to be replaced, and once every 30 years, the steam generator tubes will have to be replaced. I know it sounds like a bold statement, but I believe the containment buildings of the Palo Verde Nuclear Power Station will last longer than the pyramids of Egypt. On a government-sponsored renewable energy trade mission to Cairo, Egypt that I attended, I was able to take a day off to go visit the pyramids of Egypt near Cairo and inspect the masonry on the over 4,000-year-old pyramids. The masonry construction was definitely eroding from weather over the last 4,000 years, but still standing. And I went there to inspect the masonry, like I said, and um, from what I could see, the blocks in the structure that built the pyramids were made out of a concrete type mix of some materials found in Egypt and processed similar to the way we process concrete nowadays. But compared to our modern concrete and heavily reinforced rebar inside the entire dome structure of the containment buildings, um, the concrete structure, in my opinion, will last longer than the masonry used on the pyramids of Egypt. Bechtel quality engineers assured us that the containment buildings will take a direct hit from a 747 aircraft and it won't penetrate the containment buildings at all. That was part of our assurance, the quality assurance from Bechtel to the operators that we're building a very safe system. So I can guarantee, personally guarantee, that the containment buildings will last longer than the pyramids. Okay, let's talk a little about the resource planning for a 200-year Palo Verde. If everybody could agree that the Palo Verde nuclear systems can last much longer than 60 years as currently planned. The 4,000 acres was originally designed for more than 3 units. We currently have units 1, 2, and 3 online, running safe. There was a unit 4 and 5 that was designed but never built. Unit 4 and 5 should be now built using the same construction designs as the current technology, with some technology advancements, mainly in the computer systems, the control systems, with all the instrumentation and tracking systems that an operating system can have with the modern technology. The 4,000 acre site can be expanded to install solar generating facilities and new interconnect transmission power lines. We could also have hydrogen production facilities right on site to produce a low carbon alternative to natural gas. Hydrogen is our future fuel that will replace natural gas and any other type of fossil fuel. And a nuclear fuel reprocessing system could be built on site and recycle the spent fuel that's currently on site at Palo Verde. Spent fuel rod reprocessing is certainly a subject that may take another decade of education before we can decide to actually use it here in Arizona at the Palo Verde site. But the benefits of reprocessing or recycling the spent fuel rods is huge. I mean, we have over 30 years of spent fuel rods being stored at Palo Verde. The recycling of fuel rods would mean never having to transport any new fuel rods onto the site, and that those fuel rods that we have can be recycled, making Palo Verde not only a clean energy site with zero carbon emissions, but also a renewable nuclear site. Experts tell us that we only use about 5% of the energy in a fuel rod during the cycle it's being used in the nuclear system. So 95% of the energy is still left in that spent fuel rod, the old fuel rods that are being stored on site, and reprocessing that uranium and plutonium into new fuel would give us enough power for way beyond the 200 years uh, permit that I'm talking about. Um, the state-of-the-art technology that's out there right now, Purex, is is a process that refines the spent fuel rods, and it produces high-grade plutonium that's known as weapons-grade plutonium, ideal for use in nuclear weapons. So if it's a decision is made to do this process at Palo Verde, we should only be allowed to reprocess exactly the amount of fuel needed for the Palo Verde reactors and nothing available for export. In fact, the security measures that we have on site at Palo Verde right now don't allow anything to be transported off site except for the employees coming and going from work. But no nuts and bolts, nothing from the site is allowed to leave currently, and that safety and security measure could be enhanced to make sure that everything in the reprocessing um, process never leaves the site. It can be controlled, and it would be a huge benefit to recycle the uranium and plutonium at Palo Verde. Resource planning for a 200-year electric production from Palo Verde. You know, currently the electricity produced at Palo Verde is sold through power purchase agreements to the owners of Palo Verde. Basically, it's APS, SRP, El Paso Electric, Southern California Edison, Public Service in New Mexico, Southern California Power Authority, and the City of Los Angeles Department of Water and Power receive all of the electricity produced at Palo Verde. Arizona Public Service is the owner-operator of the plant, and in the future, APS may decide to spin off its operations at Palo Verde, much like Southern California Edison and a lot of other utilities around the country are shedding their power plants from their books and just focusing on distribution of electricity and end user customer care. Through advancements at the Arizona Corporation Commission deregulation of the electric utilities, the ACC may elect in the future to allow a new nonprofit operating entity to be charged with operations at the Palo Verde Nuclear, plus in the future a solar generating station. The Arizona Corporation Commission could also delegate all electricity generated at the Palo Verde site to be used in Arizona first, with any excess allowed to export to other states or to Mexico. Decommissioning through my plan could be delayed till the year 2186. And during the next century, there'll be lots of new technologies will be developed that will implement a speedy and safe decommissioning process that currently isn't as available. The decommissioning process is a quite cumbersome operation that's very expensive and takes a very long time to complete. The Palo Verde Nuclear Station is an amazing resource in Arizona that I don't think has ever gotten the credit it should get over the last 30 years for being such the asset that it really is right here in Arizona. We've got the biggest nuclear center in the United States. And again, it doesn't get enough credit. It's an amazing facility with vast resources that should be regarded as a jewel in the desert that we should try to keep it continuing to operate as long as possible. If you have any questions about my presentation, please text me at 480-203-6815 or email me at info@brianhageman.us. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate your time and being able to present to you. Thank you.